Amber Heard's attorney has revealed some disturbing details about Johnny Depp during the defamation trial. The allegations come amid Depp's $50 million lawsuit against his ex-wife, which is centered around the 2018 Washington Post op-ed that Amber wrote. In that article, she claimed to have become a public figure representing victims of domestic attacks. As for Johnny Depp, his attorneys have accused Amber of crafting this entire scenario from the very beginning. They said that this has all been an elaborate hoax, with the clear implication that Depp was the one who had attacked her. If you recall, in 2020, the Pirates of the Caribbean star had lost his libel case against the Sun newspaper because the judge ruled that all the claims the publication made based on Amber's article were substantially true. In their opening statement, Depp's attorney said, "Ultimately, this trial is about clearing Johnny Depp's name of a terrible and false allegation, and try they will." The case began in Virginia this week, and during more of those opening statements, Depp's legal team accused Amber of physically attacking Johnny to the point where he would have to lock himself in the bathroom just to get away from her. On the flip side of things, Amber alleged for the first time publicly that Depp had committed SA. She claimed that this took place on a number of occasions when Depp was high and drunk. Elaine Bredhoff, Heard's attorney, also exposed more disturbing details of an alleged incident where the couple threw punches at one another after Amber confronted Johnny about him cheating. Elaine then said to the court, "She loved the side of Johnny that we see in the movies, the charismatic one, the charming one, the generous one. That's the man she fell in love with. But sadly, the monster came in the way, and that monster would come out when he was drinking and when he would take the drugs." On top of that, we learned that whenever the pair traveled together, Johnny would always get another hotel room booked for himself. That way he would have somewhere else to go whenever Amber became enraged. Throughout this trial, Amber's attorney was constantly trying to dismiss the notion that Depp was innocent in the couple's disputes. To do so, she brought up an incident where Depp had allegedly grabbed Amber by the hair, dragged her up the stairs, and then hit her, which according to Amber's attorney was the result of Depp being in a 3-day blackout in Australia. Lawyers for Depp, though, countered and told the jury that Johnny will go to his grave knowing that whatever he does, there will always be people who believed he abused the woman, and that Heard took on the role of a lifetime and couldn't back down. Depp's attorney Benjamin Chew also added, "For nearly 30 years, Mr. Depp built a reputation as one of the most talented actors in Hollywood, a respected artist whose name was associated with success at the box office. Today, his name is associated with a lie, a false statement uttered by his former wife." And before the trial started, a spokesperson for Johnny also told BuzzFeed News that this lawsuit follows a pattern of Amber's elaborate, erroneous claims that have continued to change and evolve over time for the purpose of Hollywood shock value, something they claimed Amber has become a master of and used to exploit an otherwise serious social movement. The Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial begins today, and the former celebrity couple have been battling it out since they split in 2016. And the drama between these two has spilled over into the UK court system, and now they will meet again in Fairfax County, Virginia. The pair first met in 2011 while filming The Rum Diary and then got married in 2015. After breaking up, Amber sought a domestic violence restraining order against Depp and then accused him of attacking her. However, Johnny had consistently denied the claims, and so the former couple decided to settle their divorce out of court in August of 2016. Fast forward to 2018, where Amber Heard decided to write an op-ed for the Washington Post. In that article, she wrote about being a survivor of domestic violence, although she never mentioned Depp by name. Depp originally had filed a lawsuit in March of 2019 for the $50 million defamation case, but it was postponed several times. In November of 2020, he also lost his highly publicized UK libel lawsuit against the British tabloid called The Sun. In their article, they referred to Depp as a beater, and the court system ended up deciding that the news outlet's claims were substantially true. Then in March of 2021, Depp tried to overturn the decision, but unfortunately this attempt was overruled. This time around, though, his approach will be much different. You see, in that case, he was suing a whole media company for defamation, but this time around he is suing just Amber Heard directly. Amber also did her best to get this defamation case dismissed by arguing that the UK's judgment should be enough to convince a US courtroom that she was right about Johnny Depp. Despite her best efforts, though, the judge in Virginia granted Depp the right to pursue this lawsuit and denied Amber's plea for it to be dismissed, which is a big win for Johnny Depp. And the other reason this case is different from the last is due to a jury being the ones to actually determine the outcome, instead of in the UK where it was simply a judge alone that made the final verdict. The trial will also have a lot of famous people testifying who were connected to the former couple. Some will be showing up in person and others will be testifying virtually. According to Deadline, they reported that Heard will have James Franco, Ellen Barkin, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Plus, for Depp's side, he he will have WandaVision actor Paul Bettany testifying after the star's text messages with Depp were exposed to the public in a previous trial. Speaking of previous trials, Amber had also confessed in court overseas that she once told James Franco about the bruises she has sustained from an alleged fight with Johnny Depp. As for why Elon Musk is involved in this, well, Johnny Depp is claiming that Amber had an affair with Musk no later than a month after she and Johnny got married. But a representative for Elon claimed Elon and Amber didn't start seeing each other until May of 2016, and even then it was infrequent. Their relationship didn't become romantic until some time later. Also, don't think for a second that Paul Bettany's text messages are the only texts that will be exposed in this case. According to Deadline, text messages between Depp, Heard, and their colleagues will also be coming out in court, including an exchange between Amber, Jason Momoa, Aquaman director James Wan, and Justice League director Zack Snyder. Plus, text messages between Depp and J.K. Rowling will also be revealed. As many of you know, Rowling has been publicly defending Depp even though he was replaced by Mads Mikkelsen in the new Fantastic Beasts film. Coming at number 10, Paul Bettany. Next month, a lot of high-profile celebrities are going to be giving testimony in a US courtroom over the multi-million-dollar lawsuit between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard. For Paul Bettany, though, this whole ordeal has been quite the nightmare. Back in 2020, his private text messages with Johnny Depp about Amber were made public as evidence in the actor's libel case against the Sun newspaper. Paul said that the texts being revealed were embarrassing and that he didn't know Johnny when he was married to Amber. He only knew him before. In a 2016 Twitter post, Bettany had defended Depp and said, "Known Johnny Depp for years and through several relationships, he's the sweetest, kindest, gentlest man that I've ever known, just saying." But before we jump into our next point, make sure you tap that like button to show some love to the channel. In at number 9, Penelope Cruz. Another big celebrity that had spoken out in defense of Johnny Depp was Penelope Cruz. In her statement, she said, "I've always been impressed by his kindness, his brilliant mind, his talent, and his peculiar sense of humor. I've seen Johnny in so many situations and he is always kind to everyone around. He's one of the most generous people I know. During 6 months of my first pregnancy, I spent every single day with him while we shot Pirates of the Caribbean. My husband and I will never forget the sweetness, protection, and kindness he treated me with during every single step of that process. We love him very much and I feel lucky to have someone so special in our lives." This is a great example of his character, and so Penelope could be someone that Johnny's defense wants to call on to testify against Amber Heard. Speaking of Penelope's husband, in at number 8, Javier Bardem. In a separate statement from his wife in March of 2020, Javier also showed his support for Depp amid his defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard. The two actors had previously worked together in the 2000 film called Before Night Falls, and again in 2017's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales. In his statement about Johnny, he said, "I stand by Johnny because I have always seen and felt a true caring and loving man in him, an extraordinary and unique artist who has listened to anyone who needed his help. I not only love Johnny but respect him deeply, and I thank him for being the free and careless little boy he is in his art and the mature and loving man he is in the lives of others. Always there when we need him. I love Johnny because he is a good human being, trapped in the lies and manipulations of toxic beings, and yet smiling and loving us all in spite of it. How? Through his music, through his acting, through his silence. This means a lot. Thank you, Johnny. Millions of others like me love you deeply." In at number 7, Sia. The likelihood of Sia showing up to court is, well, not likely. But in a case like this, I mean, who knows? I don't think that Paul Bettany was prepared for a bunch of lawyers to be digging through 10 years of his text messages and emails, but it happened. And the musician gave her take on the situation and came to the defense of Depp. In the tweet, she said, "Just showing my public support for Johnny Depp. I mean, I'd loved him to get clean and stop with the jewelry, but he is clearly the victim after hearing those tapes." In at number 6, Winona Ryder. In a hearing that was done remotely, lawyers for Depp argued that statements from Winona Ryder and Vanessa Paradis be included as evidence in the actor's case against the Sun. They are a testament to Johnny Depp's character and long-standing references for how non-violent he really is. Ryder was engaged to the actor for 3 years beginning in July 1990. She first met him at the Great Balls of Fire premiere in June of 1989, and they began dating 2 months later when she was 17 and he was 26. In her statement to the courtroom, Winona said, "I understand that it is very important that I speak from my own experience, as I obviously was not there during his marriage to Amber, but from my experience, which was so wildly different, I was absolutely shocked, confused, and upset when I heard the accusations against him. The idea that he is an incredibly violent person is the farthest thing from the Johnny I knew and loved. I cannot wrap my head around these accusations. He has never been violent or abusive towards anybody I have seen. I truly and honestly know him as a really good man, an incredibly loving, extremely caring guy who was so very protective of me and the people that he loves, and I felt so very, very safe with him." In at number 5, Vanessa Paradis. Vanessa is another person that we could potentially see testifying against Amber Heard. The French singer is Johnny's ex-wife and mother of 2 of his children. Despite separating in 2012, they still remain very close as co-parents. In her statement to the court, Vanessa said, "I have known Johnny Depp for more than 25 years. We've been partners for 14 years, and we raised our 2 children together. Through all these years, I've known Johnny to be a kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. I am aware of the allegations which Amber Heard has publicly accused Johnny of for more than 4 years now. This is nothing like the true Johnny I have known. And from my personal
experience of many years, I can say he was never violent or abusive to me. And at number 4, Kevin McNally. Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean co-star Kevin McNally also spoke up in defense of Depp in the past and could be another person that we see testifying against Amber. Back when it was only rumored that Johnny would be losing his role as Jack Sparrow in the franchise, the actor said, "My dream is that some sort of link will be needed between what has been before and whatever bizarre incarnation of it there is to come. But I sincerely think that my fate is so tied in with Johnny that I will go with him if indeed he does go. To be there when somebody creates a modern legend is absolutely extraordinary. For anyone to want to throw that away seems to me criminal." And that, my friends, is just how big of an impact that Depp has made on people. Kevin is not only loyal to Johnny, but still is in awe of being able to watch him create the legendary character of Captain Jack Sparrow. And at number 3, David Yates. David Yates is the director of Fantastic Beasts, and even he could not keep a tight lip on how great Johnny Depp is. Even in the face of the allegations that were coming out, he still said of Depp, "Honestly, there's an issue at the moment where there's a lot of people being accused of things. They're being accused by multiple victims, and it's compelling and frightening. With Johnny, it seems to me there was one person who took a pop at him and claimed something. I can only tell you about the man I see every day. He's full of decency and kindness, and that's all I see. Whatever accusation was out there doesn't tally with the kind of human being I've been working with." And at number 2, J.K. Rowling. Johnny Depp being cast as the Dark Wizard Grindelwald in the Fantastic Beasts franchise surprisingly angered a lot of fans. Although Rowling couldn't care less and stated that she had no problem with casting Depp. On her website, she spoke more about the decision and said, "For me personally, the inability to speak openly to fans about this issue has been difficult, frustrating, and at times painful. However, the agreements that have been put in place to protect the privacy of two people, both of whom have expressed a desire to get on with their lives, must be respected. Based on our understanding of the circumstances, the filmmakers and I are not only comfortable sticking with our original casting, but genuinely happy to have Johnny playing a major character in the movies." And coming in at our number 1 spot, Johnny Depp. This one is obvious, but Depp certainly should be included on this list at least. He is the main person testifying against Amber Heard, and we'll just have to wait and see if what he says is enough, because he has already gone over much of the situation in his libel case against the Sun. So Depp will have a lot to go off of. For example, he could personally speak on the couple's history of addiction. Another piece of this story that often gets overlooked is the history of addiction that certainly played a role in this messy divorce. Depp has acknowledged many times that he has tried to kick habits of heavy drug use during the period of his marriage, but added that he sometimes had lapsed. Amber, though, was not some drug-free saint that could just help him through this. In fact, one could argue that her addiction habits only helped fuel their toxic relationship. During one courtroom hearing, Depp claimed that Heard had chopped out lines for him before rubbing some onto her own gums. Depp's lawyer also noted that Heard experienced anxiety, insecurity, and jealousy that would manifest itself in severe outbursts of anger and rage. When Sasha Wass said that Amber would often have 2 or 3 glasses of wine during an evening, Depp fired back with 2 or 3 bottles. Plus, I'm sure there is a lot more to this case that we have not heard yet, and either way, that will come up in trial.
And at number 10, defended by exes. With Johnny Depp's character being called into question after the release of that Washington Post article, it was paramount that his previous partners weighed in on the situation, which is exactly what we got back in March of 2020. Both Winona Ryder and Vanessa Paradis came forward to offer supportive statements for Johnny Depp. In a witness statement, Vanessa said, "I have known Johnny for more than 25 years, we were partners for 14 years and raised our 2 children together. Through all these years I've known Johnny to be a kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. He was never violent or abusive to me." With Winona Ryder adding, "I cannot wrap my head around Heard's accusations. He was never violent towards me. He was never abusive at all towards me. On top of that, Amber has never actually denied that she hit Johnny Depp, which we will get to shortly." Coming number 9, friends with the judge. When it comes to being a judge, there is one thing that you need to be: objective. You cannot make a rational decision if there is a conflict of interest involved. Justice Nickel, who decided the Sun's article about Depp was substantially true, came under fire for his decision after it was revealed that he had links to Amber Heard. Not only that, but he co-wrote a book on media law with Jeffrey Robertson, whose wife was friendly with Jennifer Robinson. Johnny Depp's legal team also claimed that Nickel failed to undertake any adequate analysis of Miss Heard's shifting account, despite the importance of consistency as a consideration of a witness testimony. Plus, Depp's barrister added, he excluded relevant evidence from his consideration, ignored or dismissed as irrelevant matters that substantially undermined Miss Heard, made findings unsupported by the evidence, and failed to assess whether her allegations could withstand proper scrutiny. The judge failed to properly assess her credibility by reference to documentary evidence, photographs, recordings, or otherwise. Coming in at number 8, War on Terrier. Back in April of 2016, Amber Heard was also involved in what the media dubbed the War on Terrier debacle. Her and Depp had to do this really awkward apology video because Amber had violated Australia's biosecurity codes by not declaring the Yorkshire Terriers that she brought into the country.
And Australians are just as unique, both warm and direct. When you disrespect Australian law, they will tell you firmly.
I am truly sorry that Pistol and Boo were not declared.
Then prosecutors dropped 2 more charges on Amber for illegally importing the terriers while Depp had been filming the 5th movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. The conviction on the illegal importation counts could have possibly sent her to prison for up to 10 years. Additionally, false documents can actually charge carriers a maximum penalty of a year in jail and a fine of more than 10,000 Australian dollars. However, Magistrate Bernadette Callahan only sentenced her to a 1-month good behavior bond, which essentially means that she will have to pay a $1,000 fine if she commits any further offenses in Australia, although this certainly adds to her track record of lying. Coming in number 6, illegal staff members. Amber Heard willfully lied again, except this time to US immigration by telling them that her British personal assistant was just a friend and was not working unlawfully. Her former aide, Kate James, who was fired by the actress in February 2015, alleged in a high court battle that Miss Heard deliberately smuggled her dogs into Australia, which led to her being caught breaching quarantine rules and overall thinking that she was above the law. The claims were made in a witness statement by Miss James, which was submitted to the High Court as part of Johnny Depp's libel action against the Sun newspaper. Not only that, but Heard also asked Depp's former estate manager to lie under oath after she was charged with bringing her 2 dogs into Australia illegally. Coming number 5, stealing stories. Now, if this one happens to be true, then Amber Heard is truly a bad person. According to her former personal assistant, Kate James, Amber had stolen her story of SA. According to Kate, she had told her former boss about a time where she was held at machete point in Brazil. She then said how she was shocked to learn that in a witness statement, Heard allegedly misrepresented and exploited her story to gain sympathy in court. In her statement, Kate said, "She referred directly to a violent essay that occurred to me 26 years ago, and she twisted it into her own story, and she used it for her own use. I am a sexual violence survivor, and that's very, very serious to take that stance if you are not one." Coming in number 4, doggy doo-doo. One of the most bizarre incidents to make its way into this case was the mystery about who left poop in Johnny Depp's bed. Heard had celebrated her 30th birthday at the home that she shared with Depp and then went to Coachella afterwards, which is what she is using as her excuse for why she shouldn't be implicated. However, Amber sort of stuck her foot in her mouth when she said that the housekeeper typically cleans up after their dogs whenever they happen to defecate in the house. So when the housekeeper was called into questioning, you would think that she would be able to substantiate that this was all just a big misunderstanding. Unfortunately for Amber, the housekeeper said that she has worked for Depp for more than 30 years and confirmed that she had never known either dog to defecate in the bed, adding that neither dog could even jump onto the bed if they wanted to. Plus, she told the courtroom that she handled a lot of dog poop and this one seemed to be human. Amber, you nasty. Coming number 3, false charity donations. If you remember, Amber Heard vowed to donate her $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU and Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. According to Depp's lawyer Andrew Caldecott, he said that the donation was a calculated and manipulative lie that tipped the scales against Johnny Depp from the very beginning. Depp's legal team then filed a petition with the New York Supreme Court to force the ACLU to hand over official documents that prove Amber's donation was indeed real. Not that long ago, though, the organization refused to cooperate, but with a judge ruling in favor of 23 out of the 24 requests in the motion to compel, they're legally going to have to cough up the receipts. The only request that the judge denied was for the documents pertaining to Amber's sudden role as a brand ambassador for the ACLU. Not only is it morally reprehensible to take money that you promised to a children's hospital, but it also means that people in the courtroom were manipulated into thinking that she was just a super charitable person. At the end of the day, though, we will just have to wait and see what the subpoena brings about. I'm calling it now, though. If she is found to have lied about the donations and the ACLU can't even bring up legit receipts, then it could be game over for Amber Heard. Coming number 2, the busted lip. The initial reports that came out against Johnny Depp were that he slapped Amber, dragged her by the hair through their apartment, and then repeatedly punched her in the head. When asked in the courtroom what injuries she had sustained, Amber said that she had 2 black eyes, a broken nose, a broken rib, bruises all over her body, and that Depp had busted up her lip. However, the problem with Amber's timeline is that when she alleged these events to have taken place, a video from that evening's festivities shows her on camera after the alleged fight and with no signs of bruising whatsoever, which led Depp's defense team to accuse her of building this new set of lies that all the attacks actually took place after everyone had left the home. The other way that she was caught lying was when the lawyers cited her appearance on the Late Late Show with James Corden right after her allegations put Depp's alleged attacks around this time. The clip was played in court and again Heard had no visible bruises. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, the police report. In April of last year, Johnny Depp had filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber for $50 million after she wrote an opinion piece for the Washington Post about the duress that she was suffering from being with him. As a result, Depp was fired from his role as Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and his reputation was severely tarnished. However, Depp's lawyers received a bombshell of an audio confession where Heard admits to hitting Johnny. In the audio, she says, "I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you, it was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched." Later adding, "I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you, I did not punch you, I was hitting you." Following this, the hashtag Justice for Johnny began trending, with fans of his urging for Heard to not only be removed from the next Aquaman film, but also face criminal charges.